Talk to me. Real conversation, shoot with me. Talk to me. Laughs and insights, wait and see. Talk to me, yeah. Talk to me,
It's time for some real talk with Michele.
Welcome in to the first episode of Talk to Me with your host, Michele. That'd be myself, okay? I thank you guys for tuning in, joining the conversation, subscribing, and listening to a weekly dosage of my perspective, because that's pretty much what it is. It's my perspective. You don't have to agree or disagree, but we're going to have some fun while we're here. Little background information. From Memphis, Tennessee, currently in Texas, where it's hot as hell. There's only like one season that's mainly summer, 99.9% of the time here in Texas. But hey, life is good. I am a former co-host and producer of the Gospel Heifers podcast, which ran for several years. And I co-hosted that with my sister. And I want to thank my baby sis, Rocky, for devoting her time, her talents, and wit to that podcast. We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that project. It was hard to let go. I'm not going to even lie to you. It was hard to let go, but it was just time for another chapter. So thank you, baby sis. I'm also a mom. I have a son. He is autistic, high functioning. So I'm an autism mom, and I'm very proud of my son. Definitely going to be sharing some of those experiences with you as a mother with a child with special needs and his development through the process since the podcast is officially started. You'll be all in my business anyway. So in this first episode, I have to tap on life experience. And this is mainly what you're going to be hearing from me, because I want to bring some conversations to the table with this podcast. No interviews. We're just going to have a great conversation, because these are the conversations you have at home or with your friends and your close family members, or maybe even some coworkers. You never know. But it's just conversations that usually you can entrust somebody with, and you can actually just, hey, no judgment zone. We just going to talk. That's what we're doing here. So in this podcast, I'm going to be bringing you some of my life experiences, some topics that are trending that affect mainly the Black community. I'm not going to even lie. If you haven't guessed by now, I am Black. Okay, so hang on. Occasionally, I'll be bringing on a guest with me to co-host to talk about something that's on the table. So I'll make those announcements as the show goes along. But the topic I wanted to tap in on my very first episode is dating in your 50s. Do you understand? That don't even sound right together. When you say it out loud, I'm dating, I'm in my 50s. My dating experience has been non-existent, and that was by choice. When I had to step back from my last relationship, I had to stop and look at myself. I also wrote a book to kind of guide me through that process. It is basically walking you through being in love with a narcissist, which I was. And it was a healing process. It's called Breaking Free. And that really was therapeutic for me. So I took like a little over a year off the dating scene. I'm just like, okay, I cannot. It is too much. I didn't feel like dealing with this when I was younger. I was hoping I didn't have to deal with it at this stage in my life. But here I am. So I got a spiritual advisor. Spiritual Essentials. I love her. She's been advising my family for over 5 years. And when I tell you this woman's the truth, she's the truth. And I know for those who are not spiritually driven, look, we all have gifts. This woman got a real gift, I'm telling you. But she told me last time I had a consultation with her, she was like, I see you dating. I see, I'm like, girl, you know what? You must have a wrong deck on your table right now, because I don't really have that on my agenda. I mean, if it happens, fine, but I'm not going to put forth any effort in it right now. A couple months go by, I said, okay, fine. Let me give it a try. Because, everybody wants companionship. It doesn't necessarily have to lead to marriage. That'd be a nice outcome. But if you can have somebody that you can consider a friend, your lover, your counselor, maybe even your business partner. Because I like people with ambition. So basically, what I'm looking for in a man is common sense. I know that's not so common. It's a tall order right there. So I'm starting off big. But good conversation, supportive, understanding, respectful. Great. Yeah, you gotta have a great sense of humor with me because I crack them off all day, and that's just the basics. Employment would be nice, and some source of income. I don't want no illegal income in the mix. Just a legal source of income, some reliability as far as transportation. I'll get to that later. But stuff like that is just the basic things I would look for. So I put myself back out there. I start on the social media dating app, which is free. Because right now, I'm not even in a mental space where I want to invest into a dating app. So I'm like, let me just try this free one. Give it a roll. Get a couple of responses. And the filtering process is the hardest part. You're always you got in mind what you want, what you're looking for. And then when you pull up some of these profiles, like, ew, it's just that kind of response. You're like, oh my God, what the hell's going on here? Some of these men look like they just got out of jail. I'm talking about Alcatraz type of, that's the kind of look. And some of them are younger than myself. And I usually do attract younger men. I'm not going to lie. But they look older than me. I'm like, dude, you can't be younger than me and looking like you're an elderly relative. You can't do that. It's not going to look right. So finally, I get a match. The match is 2 years older than myself. So I've never dated anybody who's older than myself. So I'm like, okay, this is something new. He lives 2 hours away. Convenient. He's kind of a black geek. That's right up my alley. I consider myself a black geek. I'm not going to even lie because I'm into all kind of shit behind the scenes. So we start chatting on the app, and then after a couple of days, I'm like, okay, when is he going to ask for my phone number? Because, I'm like, men, I know how I am about stuff I want. I do have an aggressive type attitude toward it, and I will keep doing that until I get the kind of response or at least an answer. So I was like, dude, are you serious? Because, my number's right here. We finally start talking on the phone. And we're talking every day. And one thing I started noticing, I'm like, damn, you available. I mean, I know you employed, but you a little too available. Now, I'm explaining that because I know all women, well, girl, you fussing about him being available. Yes, I am. Because before he walked into my life was on a schedule. Okay? I got things to do. I can't chit chat on the phone all day. So I had to let him know, hey, I'm working between this time and that time. It'd be a little bit more convenient to talk to you after I get through with my work day. Okay, do that. And the conversations were semi-interesting. And I say semi-interesting because he did have a great interest. He was a big fan of Comic-Con. He had this obsession with the Green Lantern. He would go to Comic-Con every year dressed as this character. Get costumes custom made. And I understand because I know a lot of people are into that. Me, I'm Halloween and I'm good. That's all I need. So we get on that topic and he won't shake. I'm trying to shake it off. I'm like, okay, yeah, I've heard about this shit already. I've heard about Comic-Con. Can we move on? So I have to redirect the conversation. I was appreciating the consistency and the clarity about his intentions, which, he said, hey, he wasn't here to play around. He's actually looking for that foundation, a wife. I'm like, okay. And he was previously married. Wife passed. I'm like, okay, so he's got a little sense of stability if he's been previously married. Yeah. But other than that, I was, just getting to know him. But I started having this gut feeling. And then when you get a gut feeling and you need confirmation, my sister had already told me, she was like, look, if you're not totally into it, don't do it. And then I talked to my spiritual advisor and she's like, well, I'm getting a weird vibe. Not weird bad, but just a weird vibe. I'm like, well, all this motherfucker ain't no serial killer. I won't end up in no lake or something or, missing for a couple of days. As long as it ain't that kind of scenario, maybe I can get around the awkwardness. All right. So we continue to talk and then he starts talking about, I'm going to make my way out there. I'm like, okay, cool. How you going to get here? Take a bus. What? You 2 hours away. You don't have a car? No, I got no car. Then I find out he's renting a room. I'm like, this ain't no halfway house type of thing, is it? And he's explaining all this financial hardships, and he's already got 3 grown sons. And I'm like thinking to myself, and I could be misjudging because I'm always looking at things from my perspective again and how my family operates. So I'm like, so you're not living with none of your sons? Ain't none of them got their door open to you? Do you talk to them at all? I mean, I'm not getting really too much but the runaround on that conversation. So, okay, you want to come out here? And we continue to talk. And it was getting to a point where it was an irritation. I was like, you're not letting me get a word in. One of my biggest turnoffs is a chatty ass man. I'm not going to dominate the conversation, but I need to intervene. Or you need to have some type of curiosity about what's going on with me like I do with you. It wasn't like that. It was just like, okay. And I told him, I said, you know what? Don't worry about coming out here. Because you seem like you're not in a space to be able to maintain a relationship, let alone dating. And I'm not just talking from a financial perspective. That's a big part of it. But right now, you don't seem like you are in that space. So he postponed. We continue to talk. And I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I should cut this off. Maybe I should cut this off. But he's such a nice guy. He's such a nice guy. You've dated all the bad boys. You've dated all those, edgy men. You need something tame. This is how you do when you start trying to adjust to something that really shouldn't be the fit for you. You start talking to yourself about you should not listen to sometimes. You should tell her to shut the hell up. You tell her, because that's what I'm going to say next time I hear that little voice in my head. Oh, you need something different. You've done something, like with those particular type of men, you need to try something different. I mean, damn that. I'm going to like what I like. And I had to filter that red flag shit out along the way. I'm just telling you how it goes. So I'm telling him to postpone this trip because I'm not really thinking that we're in that space. You're not really in that space for a relationship. And then he's like, well, I'm entitled to some happiness. And I shut up. I felt shitty after I said, you're not really in that space. And I was like, well, look at it. You rent a place, not even a place, it's a room. You have no car. That's in the shop or something. And you're going to take a bus here. So that means if you take a bus here, I got to pick you up. But he starts talking and he starts laying on a little bit thicker. The catering, the conversations are more focused. And I'm like, oh my God, is he actually listening? This is wonderful. Okay. So right before this trip is taken, and I think this had to be a layout that I don't know what processed in his mind, how it was going to turn out, but I'm going to wrap this on up. The good stuff comes later in the next episode when we actually go out on a date, because he does make his way my way. And I promise you, I should have stuck to my first instinct and let that motherfucker stay in that room with his bus pass. That's what I should have did. I really want to save this for the next episode because y'all are not going to believe how this date went. And you can already tell by the tone of my voice, it was not a fun date at all. All right. But look, we are going to get to that next episode. So make sure if you have not hit that subscribe button, hit it now. Hit it now because I got more stories. I got more experiences, more conversations coming your way. I want to, have some people on for certain topics. So it's going to get better and better. So I'm thinking about topics like I drive Uber. That is a grind of mine that I have along with my home business. So yeah, I'm working 2 jobs, man. But I definitely want to get to Uber etiquette. And when I say Uber etiquette, I'm talking about the passengers. since I'm a driver. That will be one of the topics I will be bringing up. But the next episode, we're going to return to this damn disastrous date that's coming up. Y'all going to be laughing y'all ass off. I'm not going to say no more. But look, make sure you guys subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in for the first episode. And make sure you go to Amazon and grab you a copy of my cookbook, Mama's Kitchen Cookbook. Okay, that is the name of the cookbook on Amazon. It is like a semi-mini phone book. Okay, you got over 300 recipes. Everything is Southern, mainly Southern cuisine with a little East Coast to it. So I definitely want y'all to check out my cookbook because that will be also a talk topic in upcoming episodes. And if you are listening right now, I am in a current competition. I'm in the competition of your favorite chef, and that is endorsed by celebrity chef Carla Hall. All you guys got to do is type in favorite chef. And you can go to my bio, which is on Instagram. It's called Talk to Me Michele at Instagram. That way you guys can follow me, get the link in my bio, and vote for a sister. I'm trying to get up there. I'm trying to get the grand prize. And I know y'all want me to get that because you know why? Here, we clap for each other. We clap for each other here. We don't hate, okay? We don't do that. So you guys stay tuned to upcoming episodes of Talk to Me, the podcast with Michele. I'm your host, Michele Tompkins. You guys have a great time. I will see you next go around. Peace.
Talk to me, talk to me. Laughs and insights, wait and see.